In today's video, we're going to be going over how Greg Norman had some pretty telling things to say in light of Cameron Smith's victory, which has mired the recent champion with controversy. The LIV Golf tournament has permanently altered the golfing landscape. Players who decided to switch to LIV and take advantage of the better, more lucrative chances haven't gotten away with their choice without suffering serious career consequences. First off, the Australian legend weighs in on the victory. Greg Norman, who's known as nothing less than an absolute legend in Australian golf, drew criticism for applauding Cameron Smith on his stunning comeback victory in the 150th British Open. Smith went on to successfully win the historic 150th Open Championship last Sunday thanks to an incredible back nine that will now cement his name in Australian sporting history among legends like Norman. Smith competitively chased down the likes of Rory McIlroy to win the prestigious Claret Jug and become the very first Australian to do it since Greg Norman's time back at Royal St. George's in 1993. Norman didn't shy away from giving a spectacular performance in his prime. He made 5 straight birdies to start back 9, which is no easy feat for any golfer. In fact, Norman, the controversial figurehead of the LIV Golf revolution, was quite eager to applaud the Australian on his victory. Oi, 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 Aussie, 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 a fantastic last round partner, Norman remarked. He said that this is both a victory for Smith and all of Australia since it's the first victory by an Australian in 29 years. We can't help but assume that Norman was giving himself a pat on the back in this congratulatory statement too. Secondly, some suspicious remarks. The LIV Golf figurehead reassured Smith that he's now among friends, and so he should enjoy every second of his victory at the Open. Many have begun to speculate and whisper that this may be a subtle hint of the fact that Smith himself may be joining the ranks at LIV. This would be groundbreaking, especially in light of his recent championship victory. Due to the major controversies surrounding the LIV Golf series, Norman was not invited to the festivities, marking the 150th anniversary of the British Open either. Norman would have returned to play at the Celebration of Champions had he not won the British Open twice already. The R&A had the duty of notifying Norman of the news that the Australian was not invited to the function, simply because they didn't want any unwanted disruptions. Despite the irrational concerns that surround the figurehead, we have to agree that his presence would have definitely caused some kind of stir. While many assume that Norman might have taken this to heart, the truth might tell a different story entirely. The ridiculous sums of money making their way to the LIV team is more than enough cushioning for any bruised egos. Coming up next, Cameron Smith dismisses the LIV Golf query entirely. After Smith promptly deflected inquiries about a prospective defection to LIV Golf following the immediate conclusion of his victory, Norman sent Smith a note. Smith appeared before the media to discuss his historic victory after just being the 5th Australian to ever win the Claret Mug. However, concerns about rumors that he might be joining Norman's contentious series naturally came up at his post-round press conference. LIV Golf has been charged with exploiting the tournament series as a means of sports washing for Saudi Arabia, who is said to have invested a whopping $3 billion in the entire project. The British Open champion was informed by a reporter that his name had been suggested as a prospective star to join Norman's group, to which Smith responded angrily, asking reporters whether they even wanted to know about the British Open he just won. When questioned further about his future plans, Smith responded, saying his support group is taking care of that and he's just here to play and compete like any other athlete. Although Smith offered no hints that he would be joining LIV Golf, the fact that he didn't categorically dismiss the rumors did raise some questions. According to sources, the Australian is among many players who are about to switch to LIV Golf not long after the victory. According to a separate story from Sky Sports, Henrik Stenson will lose his position as Ryder Cup captain because he anticipates participated in the hotly contested breakaway series funded by the Saudi Arabia's Public Investment Fund, PIF. When asked how he would be celebrating his victory, Smith responded that he wasn't concentrating on these sorts of distractions currently, but he did say he can't wait to see how many beers he can manage to fit into the cup itself. Now, that's something we'd love to see him try. Now, in other news. Firstly, Woods is recovering and speaking his mind about LIV. Woods has been pushing himself to finally be healthy enough to compete in the 150th Open this week while he recovers from severe leg injuries sustained in an unfortunate car accident last year. The golfing megastar was critical of the new series and questioned why anyone would even bother taking part in in it despite the guaranteed amounts of money involved. Woods said that he objects to that. When asked about his fellow pros who have been enticed to join the contentious tour, which is being led by Aussie icon Greg Norman, Woods had some strong words to say. He claimed that he thinks that what they've done is they've turned their back on what has allowed them to reach this position in the first place, clearly implying that they would be nothing without the PGA. The golfing star went on to say, who knows what will happen with world ranking points or even the entry requirement for major tournaments in the near future. He believes that some of these athletes might never have the opportunity to compete in important championships ever again. While we also believe that this may happen, we agree that there is still much uncertainty about that. The two-time British Open winner was not invited by the organizers to the recent championship event at St. Andrews. Woods claimed to be aware that Greg attempted to organize a breakaway tour in the early 90s as well, which didn't materialize to this extent. He's apparently attempting to make it work now because it didn't work before. Woods continued, saying that he still doesn't understand how this move is best for the game. Woods is of the opinion that the regulatory organizations of the game, the major events, and what the European Tour and PGA Tour stand for and have accomplished aren't aligned with how Norman perceives the entire game of golf. Woods went on to say that Greg has taken some actions that aren't ideal for golf, and that returning to what is arguably the most historic location, it was the proper decision to not invite Norman. Coming up next, we'll see how Jack Nicklaus took a rational approach to the Saudi-backed series. Given that he was allegedly offered millions of dollars to support the Saudi Arabia-backed series, he may have good reason to be apprehensive of the Rebel LIV series. Instead, Greg Norman is the focal point of everything LIV, which is why the R&A chose not to invite the Australian to this week's previous champion events. To be quite honest with you, I don't know anything about it, Nicklaus said in reference to the dispute between Norman and the R&A. The golfing star claimed to have very little knowledge of what transpired. In fact, Nicklaus said he was fully aware that they chose not to invite Norman, but he had no further information to give out at this time. Nicklaus provided just a little more information when he was asked if Norman's reputation had suffered as a result of his LIV affiliation and endorsement. The 18-time Majors champion said that he would like to just sum this situation up with a couple of sentences. Nicklaus stated that Greg Norman is a legend in the sport of golf to start. He is also undoubtedly a superb athlete as well. The two have known one another for a very long time, and no matter what, they'll always be buddies according to the star. Unfortunately, he believes that Norman and him simply don't agree on what is happening, and that there's still nothing more to say beyond that. Just to make sure the press don't pester him further, he decided to stop right there and clearly communicated how he felt when he told the press not to ask him about this ever again. Finally, Norman is calling out the sanctions for the hypocrisy they truly are. As the US Open week finally came to an end, Norman, who is the public face of this contentious Saudi Arabia-sponsored LIV Golf Series, spoke with Fox News One Nation with Brian Kamid to make his stance clear and clear up some rumors. He retaliated against the several PGA-affiliated detractors of LIV Golf, including the likes of famous sports analyst Bob Costas, who recently claimed that Norman and the other golfers he assisted in luring away, such as Phil Mickelson, are receiving blood money. A pretty bold claim by Costas, who didn't go any further to support this claim with further statements or any evidence regarding this. Norman reportedly stated that he's honestly pretty unhappy when individuals of any background, sports or otherwise, try to go down that road. The statement comes quoted courtesy of USA Today Sports, who are covering the matter. Norman went further to state that if such critics of his and the players of LIV want to view the entire situation through a narrow prism, then he's got some pointers that he'd love their honest opinions on. That's a wrap for this video. See you in the next one.